Tom, you grew up playing baseball. What position did you play?
Well, I played, I guess, first base, third base, pitched a little. Not too much of an outfielder. Never really got a grip on the outfield. I tried every now and then, but terrible outfielder. But third base, if I could pick my position, that would be it.
When was it apparent to you that a career in baseball wasn't in the cards?
Kind of late in life. I actually went to OSU and tried to walk on. Got a one-day, try out there with a bunch of other people, and saw my first big league curveball, fastball. I'd never seen anything like that before, I come from Bristow, so I hit that 2A high school pitching pretty good, but
You're right.
man, this guy, I didn't even hit a foul ball. I didn't touch the ball. And my name wasn't on the list to show back up, and I pretty much knew it was over right then, I'd never seen anybody throw like that. And it became apparent that was what I was going to have to do, And if I'd have been a really baseball player, I'd have sucked it up and I'd have worked harder and I'd have came back and tried again. But I had some friends that played music, and I just kind of filled that hole in my life. It was a hole, because, boy, I didn't really care about anything but baseball growing up. That was it. So I had a big hole, and I just filled it with music, I had some friends that played, and I bought an old guitar and started learning some John Prine, Neil Young songs and stuff like that.
Well, speaking of friends that play music, when was the first time you met old Bob Childers?
Bob Childers, let's see. Well, I'd gone to Stillwater to college for a year. Didn't really have the money to go back. So I went in the Air Force, which wasn't the most popular thing to do. It wasn't something I wanted to do, but it just seemed like a way to shake things up. So joined the Air Force, came back out of the Air Force, back to Stillwater. So I was about 24, 25, and Bob was playing around town, and I watched him play at a couple of open mic things, and it was at an Earth Day celebration in 70, what would this have been, 77, 78, something like that, in Stillwater there, and saw him sitting out in the crowd and remembered him as playing. I went up and introduced myself to him, and I kind of got to be friends through that, But yeah, he was quite the guy, Bob Childers. We still miss him. We always will.
All right, and you've told me this story before, but I want you to say it for the interview. The whole going to Nashville, Garth Brooks, that whole thing.
Oh,
and then
with
coming
Garth?
back, and then
yeah,
kind of passing him on the highways, so to speak.
Well, I knew Garth from, we had a band around here, my brothers and myself. Garth had come out and sit in and, sing a few songs with us, and really, enthusiastic, young, good kid. And so anyway, my band had kind of fizzled out, and I had gone to Nashville with Glenn Stepp from Tahlequah. He used to own Stepp's mobile homes there. He had the studio, and Glenn had heard some of my songs I'd recorded there and took me to Nashville to try to get me on You Can Be a Star. God love him, he was trying. And so I didn't really want to be on You Can Be a Star, but I wanted to see Nashville, see what it was like. So I go out and took the trip, came back home, and talked with my wife and said, that's what we need to do. Since she graduated, let's go to Nashville. And she was kind enough to give in to my wishes and desires. So anyway, in the meantime, waiting on her to graduate, Garth had come to me after my band had me and my brothers had sort of taken a break, and he comes and he wants to start a house band, and I just had a son, so I had a little baby at home. He wants to start a house band where we won't have to travel and, join up with him. And I think before he actually did that, before he came to me, he had gone to Nashville himself, made a big deal out of leaving, goes out, spends 24 hours there and comes home, decides that's not the place for him. And his story, I believe, goes, he was sitting in someone's office out there, and somebody came in whining, some country star came in whining about not making any money, and Garth asked him how much he made, and he told him, and Garth thought to himself, I make more than that at home. So, he turned around and came back, and that's when he came to me and wanted to start a house band there in Stillwater playing. And all the time he knew he wanted to go back someday. He just wanted to kind of regroup and and get ready. So anyway, I told him, well, yeah, I'd love to do that depending on who else is in the band. So the guys he picked were great guys. Ched Lindsey, great player, and Matt O'Melia, great drummer. And so we put that band together kind of around Garth as the main guy. I played bass, and we got to playing around pretty good, lick around Stillwater, and we travel out a little bit, but not much. Went to New Mexico a couple of times, and so let's see what happens then. Oh yeah, in the meantime, Garth started talking to us about going to Nashville. Well, that was my plan anyway, as soon as my wife graduated, so we just brainstormed, all of us, and decided if we went out there as a band, we could pool our resources and probably find better living conditions and everything if we did it like that. So that's exactly what we did. I think Garth and Ched Lindsey took the initial trip out there when it was time to move, and stayed with Bob Childers, and they found a big house in Hendersonville, perfect for the band. They had a couple of bedrooms upstairs, rooms downstairs for all the band members, single guys. Garth and I were the only two married people. So we all moved into that house and started our education into the way the business works out there. And eventually, to make a long story short, I kind of, after, I don't know, 6 months, a year, something like that, I didn't see anything happening with us. It just was a struggle for me working and with my kids. So talked it over with my wife, and we decided to come home. So I think we did, we stayed another 6 months, maybe a year, before we actually saved enough money to come home. And that's what I did. And it was like within minutes of that, Garth hits the big time, So, but I made the right choice, coming home. My son got to know his grandma and grandpa, and I got to play music with some great people all my life around here. So I made the right choice, coming home for me. I was just kind of burned on it out there, burned out on it, and the struggle was too much for...
More of a business town.
It really was. There wasn't a whole lot of music, and I saw so many people playing in clubs out there that were just great, extremely talented writers and singers, and you never heard of them before. And they weren't getting anywhere, and I thought, I'm certainly not going to get anywhere, out here. It just wasn't my kind of place, It's not to say I don't respect what they do and didn't enjoy it out there and learned a lot, just seeing how the business worked. But yeah, I was glad to come home.
Tell us about your recent European tour, and was there a city or a country that seemed to be a little bit more receptive than the rest of them?
Well, it started in Holland. That's where we, I guess, started going over there with Gene Williams, my guitar player, maybe 15, 20 years ago. We went over there the first time, and he knew some people there. Is how we got that gig. And it was just a real eye-opener for me, broadened my horizons. I had no idea that it could be like that somewhere else. And they were really receptive to American music, especially American roots music. They love it over there. And they are genuinely appreciative of the fact that you came all the way across the water to play music for them, and you feel that from them. Like, for instance, if we were to go play a place like this, over there, a bar type deal, when you go to play, it's set up like a concert. It's, there are no ball games on TV, there's no pool tables going on, seats are all arranged in a concert type setting, and people are sitting there and they're hanging on every word you do, so it's you're nervous, but it's a good nervous, and anyway, we've been going back every 2 or 3, 4 years since then. We'll go over there, and Don Morris started going with us, so the last 3 or 4 trips we've taken, been a trio, took the 3 of us over there, and yeah, just had a wonderful time. Each time, crowds are a little better, and it kind of builds on itself, But young guys, the young guys around here, I encourage them all to go over there if they get the chance, because it would be a lot easier, I think, to go over there every 2 or 3 years or every year with a brand new CD and actually work at it and build a career than it would be driving around Texas and Arkansas and, New Mexico and Oklahoma trying to do it. It's just much easier over there. They're already on your side when you walk in. You don't have to win them over,
right.
So, yeah, it's great. I love it.
So Holland, then.
Holland, place to be.
All right, here's the last of the 5, and this is the best one. What is your favorite breakfast cereal?
Cheerios.
Didn't have to think about that one too much, did you?
Nah, I eat Cheerios because that's, I got so many health problems. You wouldn't think it. Look at me, I look so healthy, but, that's one of the few things I can eat that won't kill me.